All right, let's set the scene. Picture this. You're a top surgeon in Japan, right in the middle of World War II. Your whole life is this perfect, careful mix of old traditions and modern science. This is the world of Dr. Sadao Hoki, and his quiet, super-ordered life is about to get completely turned upside down.
So, that brings us to the big question, the one at the very heart of Pearl S. Buck's incredible story, the enemy. It's the question this whole explainer is about. What do you do? Do you save him? Or do you betray him? It's your professional oath versus your duty to your country, your basic human decency against the fierce demands of patriotism. Seriously, what would you do?
Okay, so let's get into it. Dr. Sadao and his wife Hana are just having a quiet evening at their home, which is right on the coast. Suddenly, this figure just stumbles out of the mist on the beach below them. It's a man, clearly tossed around by the waves, and he just collapses on the sand. Their first thought? Help him. They rush down to the rocky shore to see what's going on.
And really, these four people are the key to the whole story. They create this perfect storm of conflict. You've got Sadao, who's totally torn. There's Hana, his wife, who's supportive, but let's be real, she's terrified. Then there's Tom, the enemy soldier, who's also just a helpless wounded guy. And finally, the general, a figure of authority who is dangerously, dangerously selfish. When all their motivations crash into each other, well, that's where the real drama begins. So they get down there, they turn the man over, and, oh boy, he's a white man, an American sailor. They can even make out the faint letters on his cap, U.S. Navy. And then they see the wound on his back. It's from a gunshot. This isn't just some random person washed ashore. He's an escaped prisoner of war. Suddenly the stakes are sky high. If they help him, it's treason. If they hand him over, it's a death sentence. No easy way out.
And that right there is the central conflict of this entire story. Sadao is a patriot. He's loyal to Japan, no question. But he's also a doctor, and he took an oath to preserve life. This man on the beach forces those two parts of himself into a brutal, head-on collision.
I mean, the choice just feels impossible, right? On one hand, every bit of his medical training is screaming, you have to save this man. But on the other hand, his patriotism and his fear for his family's safety are yelling just as loudly to hand over the enemy. Sadao even says it himself. If the guy were perfectly healthy, he could turn him over, no problem. But the fact that he's wounded, that changes absolutely everything.
And this pressure he's feeling? It's not just in his own head. His entire household is freaking out. The servants, like the old gardener here, they see this as a huge betrayal. They literally believe that by healing the enemy, Sadao is going against nature itself, and that something terrible is going to happen to all of them because of it.
So, here he is. His servants are ready to walk out, and he's risking everything. And he makes a choice. In this first major battle of his conscience, his identity as a doctor wins out. He and Hana carry the man inside, and Sadao gets his surgical tools ready. For now, at least, the duty to heal is more important than anything else.
But, just because he operated on the guy doesn't mean the problem is solved. Far from it. Sadao knows he's harboring an enemy soldier, and the guilt is eating him alive. He feels like he has to tell someone, so he confesses the whole story to one of his longtime patients, a very powerful and very ruthless army leader named General Takima.
Okay, to get what happens next, you really have to understand this general. This guy is not driven by patriotism. He's driven by pure 100% self-interest. He's known for being cruel. He even beats his own wife. But here's the most important part. He's sick. He might need an operation, and the only surgeon he trusts is, you guessed it, Dr. Sadao. So his own survival is his absolute top priority.
So the general listens, and he offers what sounds like the perfect solution, a clean way out. He promises to handle the whole thing quietly and efficiently. All Sadao has to do is leave a door unlocked. It's a plan that would basically let Sadao off the hook for everything. He wouldn't have to kill the enemy, but he also wouldn't be guilty of saving him. The problem would just disappear.
So Sadao waits. The first night, nothing. The second night, still nothing. He waits for a third. Every little sound, a branch snapping, the wind rustling the leaves, he thinks, this is it, the assassins are here. But they never show up. Why? Because the general, totally wrapped up in his own health problems, just forgot. He plain forgot. And just like that, Sadao is right back where he started, completely alone with the enemy soldiers still in his house.
So now he's been abandoned by the only authority figure he told. He can't take the stress anymore. Sadao realizes he has to solve this himself. He can't bring himself to kill the man, but he can't keep him there forever either. So you see this shift.
He goes from being this passive guy caught in a dilemma to an active player, coming up with his own super risky plan.
And this plan is incredibly detailed. He thinks of absolutely everything: food, water, clothes, a boat. He tells the soldier to row to this little uninhabited island nearby. He even gives him a flashlight to signal him if he's safe or if he needs more supplies, and tells him to watch for a Korean fishing boat to escape on. At this point, you have to realize he's not just healing a wound anymore. He is actively engineering this man's freedom. He's making the final choice to put their shared humanity above his national duty.
So he puts the plan into motion. One night, the American soldier Tom shakes his hand and just disappears into the garden. For the next few nights, Sadao watches the island at dusk, waiting for a signal, but he never sees one. The prisoner is gone, he's safe. The immediate danger is gone, the man is safe, and Sadao is left to think about what he's just done. The plot is basically over, but the big moral question is still hanging in the air, echoing in his mind. He looks out at the ocean where the man came from and just wonders about all of it.
And that's really what this story is all about. It's a deep dive into some pretty huge ideas. It's about how our basic compassion for another human being can be stronger than national hatred. It's about moral courage. You know, having the guts to do what you think is right, even when everyone and everything is telling you it's wrong. And it's about professional ethics, that a doctor's first job is to save a life, no matter who that life belongs to. And it all comes back to this one simple, haunting question from Sadao himself. I wonder why I could not kill him. Think about it. As a patriot, he had every reason, every justification to let that man die, or even to help kill him. But he couldn't do it. The story doesn't give us a neat and tidy answer. It leaves us wondering right there with him. And it forces us to ask ourselves the same thing. What is that thing inside of us that makes us choose compassion, even when it could cost us everything?